This is a Mining Interactive video production.
Good morning. This is Nick Nicholas on behalf of Mining Interactive, and I'm here today again with Michael Hudson, the President and CEO of Mawson Resources, as well as Mark Saxon, the Vice President, Exploration. They're just back from Spain and Sweden in Europe, and they're here to give us an update on the company. Welcome, Mike and Mark.
Thanks, Nick.
Good to see you here in Vancouver. And let me start off with the first question to you. That is, how is Mawson placed during these difficult times in the markets, during these difficult times period?
Well, thank you, Nick, for having us here again. Mawson has been part of a large group of explorers over the last few years, looking for new uranium projects worldwide. It's really come down to a much smaller bunch of uranium players. Mawson is certainly very much at the forefront of that smaller bunch of uranium players going forward. We just took some new money. We've got over $11 million cash now in the bank. The new money is looking for a home in the real players going forward, so we're very proud to be in that group. Mawson is focused in Europe, a very strong brand in Europe. We are focusing in two jurisdictions, specifically Spain and Sweden, on very real projects. So real pounds is the name of the game these days.
So how is the situation changing with respect to uranium exploration and nuclear power in Europe specifically?
Well, it's certainly, when we started, Nick, a few years ago, it was much less advanced than where we are today. We see a number of countries going forward with their nuclear programs. Sweden just made the announcement only a few months ago. The UK a few months before that. Italy has just recently made the change. And there's certainly energy security in the debate tied to securing uranium for the largest per capita users of uranium in the world is very strong. And that's what will drive Mawson forward.
So really, you know, all of this happening in Europe, what does it mean for Mawson and its future?
I think we're very fortunate now, Nick, that this slowdown in the market has allowed Mawson to position itself even more strongly than it was before, with a lot of the other players who were exploring in Europe have now fallen away. So Mawson has the strong brand in Europe as being a uranium exploration company, and it means that we can move forward even more prudently and aggressively than previously by testing our best projects in Europe and taking advantage of the position that we have by being one of the few players in that jurisdiction where consumption of uranium is very high.
Now, you already mentioned the cash position of the company and so on. What is the current focus for Mawson investing into the projects, for instance?
Well, there's, as I said before, real pounds, Nick, and that's what I suppose Mawson really needs to brand itself on also. We've got the European focus, which everyone knows Mawson's well known for, and the real pounds. So we're not just trying to grab pounds, put them in the ground and tell the story. We're looking for things that are metallurgically amenable, mineable in jurisdictions where we can advance the story. So we've got the Hutagen district in Sweden and the Don Benito district in Spain that fit those two criteria, and perhaps Mark could discuss.
Yeah, certainly. As Mike has said, our focus is now on the projects that have real mining potential, not just securing assets for the future, but real mining potential. And when we look at those decisions, it comes down to metallurgy that is amenable, using traditional processing techniques. We don't need to reinvent. We don't need to make new technological advances to mine these projects. With a grade and a thickness that are economic in something approximately to the current circumstances. So that has meant that we focus now on our Hutagen district, in particular our Clubby-Becken project, where we have just finished a drilling program over the last winter, and following on from our big summer field work and winter field season prior to that. And we're now out there doing the good groundwork on our projects to advance those to the next stage of drilling by winter this year.
So how much money do you intend to spend this winter for Clubby-Becken and the area?
Our budgeted program for Clubby-Becken, which will be a drill out of the resource that we have previously identified, will be looking at extending the project on at strike extents and at depths we'll be looking to spend between 2 and 3 million Canadian dollars on that program.
So investors can be looking forward to some results coming from Klappebäcken during the winter and going into spring.
Yes, most certainly, yes.
Okay, very good. Now, what else is happening there in Sweden? Because I understand that there is a situation that you have some other projects that you will be bringing in.
Sure, Nick, and we are very well positioned in Sweden. We've been there for a long time, since Mawson was founded in 2004, and personally we've been working there for a lot longer. So it's taken a long time. There was something like $35 million spent on Swedish exploration in the 70s, going back into the early 60s, even for self-sufficiency. So there's been a lot of information to accumulate and relearn, if you like. So we're now in a great position. So there was something like 170 known projects, uranium projects, in databases over the last few years in Sweden that were compiled. We've now been able to add to that proprietary information from the old information we've accumulated. So there's over 3,000 now that we have at our fingertips in Sweden. So going from 170 to 3,000 projects just shows that the leader advantage that we have in Sweden. So we've been able to pick up some new projects. One specifically is the Kapell project. It's very new to us. You'll read it in the press release that has just gone out. The Kapell project is a sandstone-hosted uranium project, which is very new for Sweden in terms of style. It's got very high grades, plus 1% over a couple of metres, very near surface that has been drilled. So a very exciting earlier stage project. But I suppose, just to expand on what Mark said, the key takeaway message is that we've got a great start on resource projects in Mawson that we're making bigger, and we've got big land packages in which to expand, where there's great exploration upside with uranium known around the district, if you like. So in Hutagen we've got something like 21 or 2 projects within 3 or 4 kilometres of the Klappebäcken project. So there's room to expand and make things bigger with very good starts. And that's where we are in Spain. And perhaps Mark could summarise a little about Spain.
Yeah, so we are focusing now, as we say, on our 2 key areas, and one of which is the Hutagen district, where we see ourselves with a 10 to 20 million pound potential in the short to medium term with our exploration programs there. And we can say exactly the same for the Don Benito district in Spain, that is now at the very advanced stage of negotiations with the Spanish government. Again, we're looking at a 10, 20, 30 million pound exploration target in that district, where we can take advantage of tremendous historic data in that region. The historic mining of uranium in that district means that we have a lot of knowledge about what has happened before, the metallurgy, the mining styles, the geological information, and we can use that information to step out and expand hopefully our resources in that district.
So, you know, I've of course been with Mawson as far as representing you is concerned from the start. And one of the things that I like is you have done a tremendous amount of homework, and you're now at a stage where you have discoveries and you have a situation where at once you can be expanding those resources with the work that you're doing and all the information that you now have at hand. The most important thing is, I think, that our viewers should know is your team both in Spain as well as in Sweden. Your team certainly are a group of very knowledgeable people in the uranium business, so maybe you can expand on that just a little.
As we've said before, Nick, in this business, junior mining companies are all about the people. Everyone has a decent project, everyone has got a little bit of money, but unless you've got the right people in place to advance projects, you're nothing. And we've got some very well-experienced people in Spain, in Sweden, working for us, and I suppose a company maturity gets to a point where Mawson now is 5 years old, and we've been able to develop the experience base to the right point. So Mawson is just very well positioned at this point in time, down in the market, we're cashed up, resource projects we're advancing with people in place, and we're very excited about where things are going to take us.